Hello. It feels so good to see you. I know that it's been a while. I hope that you enjoyed a very happy 4th of July, that you've had an incredible summer so far with your family and friends. I know it has been organized chaos around here. We've been lots of traveling out of town, going to camps and swimming lessons and potty training and getting all sorts of things done while we have some family time at home before school kicks back. It's just been nuts. So it feels really good to sit down and be able to recap where I am with my Project Tin Pan items with you and just kind of talk shop about some makeup. If you're curious or if you're new to the items that I chose for Project Tin Pan, go on and click the video that's going to be up here in that little white box, because I'm not going to just recap all 10 items until the very end finale video. So I finished, I believe, three products, I think, for that first update, and then I've got some exciting ones for this one. So let's just kind of get into it, what I finished and what I'm continuing to work on. The first thing that, well, it wasn't the first thing that went, but let me just say, I'm beyond stoked about this. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen the photo of this, but look what's finally done. Can I just say, the most satisfying feeling ever, because this bronzer took forever. It was just, I had such mixed emotions with this, because I love the bronzer. It makes a fabulous contour in addition to bronzing, but I just went through a major roller coaster, even worse than the Naked palette, of, you know, loving it and then being bored, and then liking it but then being angry with it, and then loving it and then being frustrated. And it was just like up and down and up and down and up and down. And I love this product. I have a backup of it in the Cheeky Sweet Spot palette from Benefit, but I can't do it right now. I've got to take a break. And in fact, I do want to share, I found a new favorite combo. If you have the Steel in the Light palette, or not Steel in the Light, Steel in the No palette, the matte one, the shade Rain in it makes a phenomenal contour. And then I've been going over with the IT Cosmetics CC Radiance Ombre Bronzer. Let me show you what that looks like. I've really been loving that combination. So it's been a nice change up. I'm still thrilled, beyond thrilled, that I made it through this bronzer. But man, I mean, they just take forever. This is the second bronzer that second powder bronzer that I've ever finished in my lifetime. The other two, or maybe I've gone through 3 of the Sonia Kashuk cream bronzers, but they take eons. So I feel you if you're working through Hoola or any other bronzer. They are tough, but stick with it. It feels so satisfying when you can finally call it done. In fact, I was chuckling to myself because the comments you guys have left, the very sweet comments on my repressing video and videos where I've talked about this silly bronzer, it took forever. Because even in my repressing video, that was back in May, and I thought that I was at the end, and then it still took me through July to get this sucker out of my life. So this has been just as satisfying as finishing an eye palette, I must say. And then as far as the other product that made its way out the door in July, it was the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I did enjoy this. I'm kind of over the packaging because I don't like the squeeze tube with the wand. I found that to be especially frustrating as you get to the end of the product, because I had to squeeze and contort and just kind of twist the packaging around, and it just made a really annoying time to get the product out, you know, to prepare onto my eyelids. So I've realized I prefer squeeze tubes as far as eyeshadow primers go, but it feels good to call this done. It lasted me, I want to say, a year, maybe a little bit more than that. So serious value for your money, whether you go high-end or drugstore, because I mean, it's going to take you a long time to work through eyeshadow primers. And then the ones that are going to be kind of on their way out the door, I'm thinking I'm going to finish, probably within the next, I want to say week, 2 weeks tops. It's going to be the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation Plus Concealer. I didn't mark it on the side of the bottle because I'm at the point now where I have to scrape it out. I'm going in with a makeup spatula every time. I've removed the stopper. of the foundation. And so I get the doe foot applicator and I, swipe it onto my hand, and I'm mixing it with an oil or the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Perfecting Primer, just to kind of make it last a little bit longer as I apply it to my face, because I really do love this foundation. If you're curious about purchasing this for yourself, I wear the shade Linen, which is number 1. Yes, number 1 in Linen. It's a lovely foundation. It can be a little heavy, which is one of the reasons I'm kind of diluting it a little bit with a luminizing primer or, with the oil, just to kind of not make it so matte since we're in the middle of summer. I'm actually not wearing it today. I'm wearing the IT Cosmetics CC Cream because frankly, I just wanted a very light makeup today. I cleaned house. I had a meet up with my mom's group and I didn't want to fuss with it today. So, but this I feel is going to be out the door probably next week for what's left of what I can get out of it. I'm going to see if I can scrape the whole bottle, but if I can't, I've gotten my money's worth in my opinion. And then, the next one that I feel like is going to be on its way out the door is the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in the shade Lolita. I've gotten to where when I put the wand in, I can start seeing through the sides of the tube. It's going to be really hard to see on camera. Maybe you can start seeing that. But it is getting to the point that the layer, when I apply it to my lips, is very thin. There's not a lot of pigmentation left. So I don't know. I've never finished a liquid lipstick before. If you have, tell me, did it get thinner as you got to the bottom where you had no pigmentation and then it dried up? Or like I said, this is going to be my first experience. So let me know if you've been through, this or another brand before, kind of what to expect as we get down to the bottom of the tube, because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to use this. Have you been able to scrape out of the inside of a liquid lipstick, because the stopper's in here and it is in here. I've tried to get it off, and I've got one of those lip gloss, what do you call it? It's like a sponge tip that you can go down in a lip gloss and get the last bit of product, but I'm curious if this would even work inside of a liquid lipstick or if it's just going to be a hot mess to try to apply it to my lips. So curious, let me know if you've been through this before, to kind of, what's looking ahead, because I'm excited to be over it. I love this color. It's something that I realize I would like to repurchase because I've enjoyed the color. I've enjoyed the formula. Not going to purchase it anytime soon because I have lots of other mauve lipsticks. But it feels good to be almost done with this one. And then the last 3 products, 8, 9, and 10. The NYX Wonder Pencil in Light. I feel like I haven't, I realize I've made a little bit of progress. I did have to sharpen it, but it doesn't look much different than it did last time. So I'm just continuing to work on it. But the ones that I have made decent progress in, my MAC Black Track Fluid line. I really want to try the Tarteist Squeeze Tube eyeliner when I'm done with this, so it's giving me a lot of motivation to just get through this. I love this eyeliner. It's a treat for me to use it every day, but that's where I am. I kind of shoved it off to the side so that it'll be a little bit easier to see the progress. So we're just going to continue working on that. Probably within the next 2 to 3 months I can call it done. And lastly, the blush that I'm still working on, but loving. I really have been loving this every single day. If you're looking for an easy blush to pan, go with Benefit's Rockateur out of your collection. There's not as much product in there as there is in other Benefit boxed powders in particular, or even in your other blushes, but it's one of those shades that works well with anything. You can wear any lip color you want, or if you're a balm person, you can get away with that. It matches with any eye look. It's just an easy go-to blush. This is currently where I am. You can see more of the grid pattern in the bottom. I'm trying to clear out all over here just so I can have that, I guess, even usage before I start in on this side. But as you can see, that grid pattern is getting more and more obvious. So very exciting. Okay, that about wraps things up. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out where I am with these items. I wish you all the best as you continue shopping your stash. Have fun with your makeup and rediscover products. Come up with some new combinations, because I have to admit it's been a lot of fun And it's been very exciting for me to really dig in and find a bunch of rediscovered favorites out of my collection. So that's about it for now. Be on the lookout. I've got my Pan That Palette update coming, and there have been big changes to the palette. In particular, just kind of spoiler alert, since I discovered using Rain as a contour for my Steel and No palette, huge progress in that particular shadow. And then the other shadow that I've beyond loved. I think as much as luster, it's one of my top favorites out of that palette. It is the shade Sunset. If you want backups to Sunset or comparable shades, go into your Lorac Pro 2 palette with the shade Mocha or Amaretto from your Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. You'll get a very similar effect. I've been loving it in my crease, popping it with a mint on my inner corner, and then using like a mauve shade to transition and a sparkly champagne on the lid. Beautiful. You know what? I may need to do a Get Ready With Me and then do the comparable Looks Like series again, just kind of like I did with the gunmetal shades. So lots of things I need to get filmed. But first off, be on the lookout for that Pan That Palette update. And then Lorraine's book club challenge. I did finish the book Room, so that review is going to be coming up, and then I need to get on those makeup videos. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. See you later.